When President Trump reopened the government, he also called for a bipartisan committee to attempt to hash out some border compromise. John was talking about it before February 16th. So why haven't we heard about any progress? Here now, a member of that committee, Republican Representative Tom Graves of Georgia. All right, Congressman, any progress whatsoever? And if not, don't be partisan about this. What can we do now to make some progress before the 16th?
All right, not being partisan at all. There's been zero progress. We have had one meeting since this conference committee was created, and it was created by Nancy Pelosi. You remember she said, open the government and we'll negotiate. She created this committee. She controls this committee. Her chairman chairs this committee. She has more votes than anyone on this committee. We've had one meeting. I've requested more. I stayed all last week, went through the weekend, and yet no more meetings.
Well, Henry Cuellar said this on Fox News Sunday about the wall.
First of all, we're not going to have a wall. Now, can we look at some sort of enhanced barrier? That's something we can certainly look at. But I have to say, living on the border, you have to let the local Border Patrol chief have the say-so and let the local communities be involved so they can come up with maybe some sort of enhanced barrier.
Okay, what does this look like? I'm a bit confused. Enhanced barrier, not a wall, see through it. See, I always think a wall you can't see through, but we're going to have a see-through, so it's kind of already an enhanced barrier. Yeah. It seems like there's a semantic problem in part, correct?
Well, it's a little bit of play on words. Enhanced barrier for the Democrats is taking an old wall and improving it. So it's no new wall. Now, the president wants new walls, which I agree with. So enhanced barriers, one piece. That's only it.
Well, when you see the video just released last week and the week before of hundreds of people at one time crawling across an area that, I mean, my 10-year-old could crawl over this thing. This is not a difficult barrier. In some places, you just walk right across the desert, very dangerous parts.
Right, and that may
you
be
aren't
one
a country when that is how you get into your country, at a place where a lot of people want to come in. That's not what a country does. I mean, if you want to stay a country, at least.
Right, sir. A lot of areas for improvement. But when you look at the plan that was presented by Homeland Security, I mean, they clearly say there needs to be new additional barriers, steel barriers, walls, in addition to enhancements, in addition to technology, Border Patrol, additional judges and such. There's a lot to do, but a wall is a critical component of it, and I'm not sure why they're walking away from it.
Well, what they'll say is, we're going to do drones and sensors, and a lot of the big interdictions are happening at ports of entry, drug interdictions. So they're hanging a lot of it on the ports of entry, where they are making some progress and lower number of apprehensions. So anytime you bring it up, you're like, well, apprehensions are down. We don't have a border crisis. You know, this is what they continue to repeat. All right, well, stay there, and thank you so much, Congressman, for joining us.
Overnight, Democratic Virginia Governor Ralph Northam holding an urgent staff meeting as more members of his own party call on him to step down.
He's lost the authority to lead. He's lost the authority to govern. He has to resign.
But once that picture where the blackface and the Klansman came out, there is no way you can continue to be the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
And he needs to resign immediately to stop the pain in Virginia and, frankly, around the nation.
So, will the governor quit? Here to weigh in, Fox News contributor and former education secretary under President Ronald Reagan, Bill Bennett. Bill, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so last week, first thing you know, on Friday, he apologized for the photograph, and then on Saturday he said, you know what, I'm not going to quit because that's not me in the image. However, since then, all these prominent Democrats and Democrats across the Commonwealth of Virginia have said, Mr. Governor, you have got to quit today.
Yeah, no, he's gone. He may not know he's gone, but he's gone. Pete, the Princeton graduate, will remember the gravedigger scene from Hamlet, right, Pete?
Of course.
How long a man be dead before he realizes it? He's gone, and they want him gone. And what's very important to realize is why they want him gone. Of course, this picture was deeply offensive, but they had another reason to want him gone. And I'm glad Pete brought that up earlier in the debate segment in the first hour, which is the whole abortion question. This late third trimester or even fourth trimester abortion. He was an embarrassment to the party. They would not speak to it, the Democrat leaders, to his opinions, to that famous radio interview. And the way to get rid of the message is to get rid of the messenger. There's an urgency in getting him out for at least two reasons.
So you believe the Democrats even believe that that third trimester abortion is egregious?
I don't know, actually. I think a lot of them actually agree with it, but they don't like to talk about it publicly. It's the public embarrassment. Look at the numbers. They know this is not a winner. In their heart of hearts, I don't know what's in their heart of hearts. I do know a lot of them, as you saw from that testimony in the state legislature, and you saw in New York, you know, lighting the building with pink. A lot of them really do believe it, and it is embarrassment. It's a horror, and it's a political loser.
It's become a celebration for them, no doubt.
That's right.
Mr. Secretary, we just got new sound of the president in his interview with CBS, and he talked about how Democrats in 2020 are not going to win on issues like impeachment and abortion. Listen.
The only way they can win, because they can't win the election, is to bring out the artificial way of impeachment. And the problem is you can't impeach somebody for doing the best job of any president in the history of our country. And the only way they can win, I look at these folks with the horrible situation right now on abortion, where they're saying late term. They're not even talking about late term. They're talking about the baby is born and they can kill this child, this innocent child. If you look at what they're running on, they can't win. So the only way they could possibly beat me, because they're not going to win the election.
Yeah, I mean, he feels like it's not just good policy to defend life, but good politics.
It is, and they have taken a sharp left turn on this issue, on the borders, on taxes, on Medicare. This is partly Trump derangement syndrome, but it's also partly just their shock at his election and the frankness and directness with which he speaks. There was a kind of torpor developing with Obama, you know, the moderate speech, the easy, you know, professorial manner. Trump comes along, the president comes along, a splash of cold water in the face, they react, and now they're reacting, violating Newton's law. Not an opposite and equal reaction, but an opposite and greater reaction. And they need to be worried that they're going off the cliff.
All right. Well, we're all watching Fox Nation. We're all subscribers to that wonderful service. And I know you have a show, Wise Guys. What's the latest episode?
The latest episode is in California, and I asked the question, Ainsley, is this our future? Are we all going to want to be like California is now? I certainly hope not, but we talked to a distinguished group of Californians about it. I'd like us to be more like South Carolina.
Well, one of those wise guys, you're a wise guy, so is Dennis Prager. This is part of what he had to say about education.
If a high school senior in the United States in a good school knows what an adverb is, what an adjective is, but as I said, they know about global warming, but basic stuff, teachers' unions support everything that undermines my country, in my view, and I am then supposed to feel bad, and I do. I feel bad for the individual teacher, but I'm sorry. Your union is a destructive force in America.
And this is near and dear to your heart because, Bill Bennett, you know, what's happened to educating our kids in American schools these days?
Yeah, it's a disaster. We're no better off than we were 30 years ago. I'm not a wise guy. I'm the Bill Belichick. I'm just I wish I were. Huh?
The orchestrator.
But no, this is a very good panel, and it's a good show. We're delighted it's taken off, and thanks for the attention to it.
Yeah, there you go. If you don't have Fox Nation yet, you should check it out. Go to foxnation.com. There's some great shows on it. We all do shows on it. Bill Bennett's on it. I saw somebody describe it as Netflix for conservatives. You got a lot of people.
And this episode is there right now of Wise Guys.
So, Bill, you're not going to get California tattooed across your stomach, are you?
No, not a chance. Not a chance. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much. Have a great Monday.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back, everyone. Earlier this week, President Trump criticized the U.S. intelligence community after the heads of the CIA, FBI and others publicly contradicted him on threats posed by ISIS, North Korea and more. The president tweeted, "The intelligence people seem to be extremely passive and naive when it comes to the dangers of Iran. They are wrong. When I became president, Iran was making trouble all over the Middle East and beyond. Since ending the terrible Iran nuclear deal, they are much different, but a source of potential danger and conflict. They are testing rockets last week and more and are coming very close to the edge. Their economy is now crashing, which is the only thing holding them back. Be careful of Iran. Perhaps intelligence should go back to school." Of course, the establishment media didn't overreact to that at all.
President Trump and his intelligence chiefs are worlds apart on ISIS, Russia, and the border.
This was essentially a public repudiation by his own people
of Donald Trump's worldview.
It was like these intelligence leaders were describing a different planet than the one Donald Trump inhabits.
The growing disparity between the ground truth that they presented and the planet that this president lives on.
Where does a president get intelligence and foreign policy advice from?
Not agreeing with these conclusions is willful disregard of the facts.
This is dangerous, isn't it? I mean, it's
incredibly dangerous.
This is a dangerous thing.
Oh, yes, incredibly dangerous. What a perfect example of the IYIs, intellectual yet idiots, in action. As far as I'm concerned, these are the moments when President Trump is at his absolute best, challenging the groupthink and conventional wisdom of the failed establishment. The fact is, the CIA, the FBI, and all the rest of them have been wrong for decades. They missed the collapse of the Soviet Union. They missed 9/11. They completely messed up Iraq and the Middle East. And then they missed the rise of ISIS, too. Let's face it, America's so-called intelligence community has been wrong on everything, year after year after year. Thank God we've finally got a president who calls them out on it.